Hello friends, welcome back to the video. The last video I was talking about how art and history was very much different, and today in this video I wish to talk to you about a movie that was actually somewhat close to reality but it did not do well in box office. The movie that I am talking about is Anek. Right, that movie is, I think, perhaps the only movie in Indian film industry that was talking about the Naga issue. But the problem why that movie did not fairly do well in the box office, although it was a well-researched script, but direction and screenplay could have been better. The reason was that that issue was not discussed in the mainstream media much. So unless and until a person who has not understood the Naga politics and the Naga issue and the Naga militancy movement, it becomes very difficult for someone to understand it. Right. So this is where a movie can be a failure or success in box office, even if it sticks to its reality much more closer. Right. See, for example, in that movie, you can, if anybody who has seen that movie can understand, it is talking about the Naga militant group. On one side you can say the Tiger Sangha group, and on the other side you say the Johnson group. This Tiger Sangha group, which is actually having talks with India and signing accord with India, that is the NSCN Isaac Meva group, right? And the Tiger Sangha that is being portrayed in the movie is really real time. It's inspired from Twinglang Meva, who is the leader of NSCN Isaac Meva group. Isaac Meva means it is consists of two people, Isaac Chizizu and Twinglang Meva. This Isaac Chizizu is no more. He died quite a few years back. And the Johnson group, which is shown in the movie, which is against the government, but it is running some kind of rehabilitation. And in the movie, the IB agent played by the hero is indirectly helping the Johnson group to prop up against Isaac Meva group. That is a part of fiction. But this Johnson group that is there close to Myanmar is actually NSCN Kaplan group. So that Johnson here is SS Kaplan. He also died, but now that group has his successors, and there are very much splinter groups based on Kaplan, but it is close to Myanmar, and they are not participating in the peace process, right? And in the Nagaland, there are political parties, Naga People's Front, many political parties are there, even BJP is there, right? So, but the problem is like the political parties do not have much say, because in many of these areas, the militants run kind of parallel government. They have their own militia, they have their own bureaucracy, they collect taxes. See, they collect taxes even from the like the business vendors and taxi drivers and all those things. So this is actually been portrayed there in the movie. Although the movie has many faults, like see, for example, like they have brought a Naga character, Ido, who is like who wants to play for India and become a boxer. That was there on the one side. And you can see even Naga characters talking each other in Hindi. That is never a case, because the language used in Nagaland is Nagamis. Nagamis is a dialect of Assamese. So see, certain kind of such kind of faults are there. But why I wanted to point out about this movie is because this is actually a movie that had some connection close to the reality, because this is one movie that has seriously addressed the Naga issue, why the indigenous Naga people have been drawn to militancy, why there has been a neglect from the center, right? And how these militant organizations who have initially come up with some rosy slogans like Asadi, that we see that we have echoes in the mainland, right? And how the people of Nagaland at one point of time who endorsed these militant organizations are suffering now is a question, is a ready reckoner which can actually influence the people of mainland also. Because the NSCN means National Socialist Council of Nagaland, right? Nagaland is the kind of nation that they wanted, a greater Nagaland which has even parts of Nagaland, Manipur, some part of Meghalaya, and also Myanmar. Because Myanmar also has considerable amount of Nagas. Nagas are an ethnic group which has 16 tribes under them, right? There are tribes like Angami, Ao, Chakesang, Sumi, right? There are many tribes like that. And their movement has actually has its origin from the beginning of 20th century onwards. In 1912, they had something called Naga Club, which was started in Britain, especially by the soldiers who were recruited by Britain during the First World War. right? Then lately we can find leaders like Fizo Angami coming up, right? Fizo Angami coming up, and then there was a Naga National Front, Naga National Council. But this took an extremely militant turn in 1980 with the formation of NSCN or National Socialist Council of Nagaland, when the young Turks of the movement got disillusioned with the NNC, which was going in a peaceful manner. And in 1988, where there's the split between this NSCN split into two factions, NSCN Isaac Miwa group and NSCN Kaplan group. Isaac Miwa has like IM means it has, there's two people, a person are Twingelang Miwa and Isaac Chisisu, and SS Kaplan being the other faction. So this is actually the background of the Naga movement, and without the knowledge of such a movement there in the Northeast India and how they are managing the local politics there, it becomes very difficult for the any average moviegoer to understand this. And the thing is, like, see, it is not only Nagaland. Many other states like Mizoram had this issue. There was an armed resistance in Mizoram till 1986 when Mizo National Front they laid down arms and went into the politics. So I'm hoping that in the long run the NSCN will also lay down arms and come within the ambit of the Indian Constitution. At the same time, they have special privileges also which will be granted. So this is one movie that I wish you would have seen, but it's not necessary that everybody might enjoy it just because, yes, the movie has certain flaws, but at the same time, this Naga issue was never discussed much in the mainstream media. So thank you for listening to me. Stay tuned for the next video. Please do subscribe the channel. Thank you.